While you might assume that when someone says relationship, they're talking about being romantically and/or sexually involved with someone. But there are actually all kinds of relationships you can be in. The majority of those relationships certainly don't involve romance or sex. I'm S.J. Lion, and this is the Sex Talk. For the purposes of this video, you can assume that when I say relationship, I mean romantic and/or sexual relationship. A more complicated question, in my opinion, than how do you do the sex is how do you do relationships? The specifics of a relationship are things we need to think about, discuss, examine, agree upon, and actively do together. Healthy relationships that benefit us and others require our time, energy, attention, and shared active participation. All right, great, but what does any of that mean? Romantic relationships are a murky subject, mainly because romance is a murky subject in and of itself. What each person does and doesn't consider romance is complicated. What we can say for certain about relationships is that they should be fun and joyful. Now, that doesn't mean that they're childish or not serious. It also doesn't mean that everything is sunshine and rainbows all the time. Having said that, a relationship being a constant struggle or drama is probably a good indication that it isn't healthy, and there might be much larger issues going on. It's fair for middle and high school relationships to be more playful than relationships you'll have later in life. As you take on more responsibilities, you might be less interested in a partner who doesn't have a job or can't clean up after themselves. Of course, we're all a little blind to our partner's flaws, especially when suffering from NRE. New relationship energy, or NRE, is fantastic. But it also does quite a number on your critical thinking skills. There are very few of us that can think critically when we're feeling weak at the knees or super lusty. For that reason, when making sexual or relationship choices in a new relationship, you can rest assured that your judgment will be a little looser. This energy does fade with time. When NRE does eventually end, that doesn't mean that something is wrong with the relationship, or that it's over. It simply means that the relationship is moving from one phase to the next. A few other things to keep in mind when considering relationships. Set realistic expectations. A solid friendship makes for the best foundation, and constant communication and negotiation are key. Obviously, every relationship you enter will be different. What feels like realistic expectations for one relationship might not be for another. One relationship might have you in the NRE phase much longer than another. There's a lot more we can get into with relationships and dating, but I'll save that for future videos. I'm S.J. Lion. This has been the Sex Talk, giving you a crash course on romantic relationships. You can expect videos on dating and more relationship stuff in March. Until then, stay safe, everyone.